And you need to hear from me that I don't believe a damn word you're saying.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. Today is going to be a part 2 to my last video, so if you haven't watched that, make sure you go back and check that out first. But basically, we're about to see Dr. Phil really deconstruct some of this woman's lies that she has about herself and her family. She's straight up lying to herself that she's trying her hardest to be in her son's life, yet she is over here messing up in just about every way and cannot take any personal responsibility for her own actions. So without further ado, let's hear some of these lies and just watch her totally freeze as she's unable to make up excuses for any of it, because there really are no excuses. She was exposed.
And you said that the guardian ad litem was very supportive of you. But I'd like to read a few excerpts from the guardian ad litem's report.
All right, so first things first, for those of you guys who don't know, a guardian ad litem is a term for a person who's appointed by a court when there's a custody battle of a child, who basically is trying to be unbiased, or has to remain unbiased, and is just looking at the fitness of both parents. And basically they take a look at the whole situation with this kid and see who they're best off being with. And she claims that the guardian ad litem had nothing but good things to say and said, oh yeah, you don't even need supervised visits, you should probably have custody. But really, we're about to read some of the words from this report, and it's not good. The guardian ad litem definitely did not care for this mom, and through their research, they were able to find quite negative things about her.
Psychosis states currently undergoing treatment. Repeated requests for documentation, none has been forthcoming.
So yeah, apparently she was lying about the whole Addie thing, and she was brought to a full psychosis from her use of it, which is quite sad, but she claims that she got help for it, and when the guardian person asked her for any sort of documentation showing that she was getting support for this, she was not able to bring any of that to light, because obviously, much like her job that she lied about in the last episode, that was completely made up, and she's not getting help for it.
Judgment is jaded by Adam. Not thinking straight, tearing family apart, no environment for Avery.
Whew. So yeah, like I said, Dr. Phil really came with the receipts just like he did in the first part of this video. This person says that her judgment is completely jaded, again, by her use of this stuff, and she's not thinking straight, tearing her family apart, no environment for Avery. Those are some strong words. Like, you can't even flip that and be like objective about it. Definitely, she is not fit to be a parent in her current state, and a person who is appointed by the court to remain unbiased on the situation says these same exact things in those exact words, which is pretty negative for her and not a good look, but let's see how she recovers from that. And as if we needed more proof that the father is a lot more about this kid than anyone else in this situation, the person who is appointed to, look at this whole situation said that he was cooperative and demonstrates a genuine concern for mother and her relationship with Avery, ensured Avery and mother's relationship remained intact and strong. So clearly this guy is handling this with as much grace as you possibly can. I mean, you have this crazy ex who's the mother of your child that is out here in psychosis. According to official court documents, she says herself that she was going through psychosis. Yet this guy is still trying to allow her to be as involved in her child's life as she possibly can at this point. And not many people would have, that amount of grace when it comes to the situation. I imagine it's pretty easy to just want to hate that person who is trying to make your life an absolute hell. And she has actually made allegations against this father that are so vile and terrible that just prove to me further how disgusting this woman is, especially with her lies. And she really is just scrambling on stage this entire time.
Oh, so she wrote her report and filed it with the court, sworn statement, but then told you privately, you're really okay.
Yep, that's another lie that she really expects us to believe. I don't know who she thinks Dr. Phil is, but this guy has a pretty good BS meter. It's a lot more accurate than most people because he deals with people like this woman all the time who are just not forthcoming with the information that they need to be truthful to themselves about. And she is just running around in circles with these lies. She expects us to believe that this person lied on official documents where it's their job to not lie. Like, obviously, they're not going to be just saying one thing in the report and then in private, like, by the way, I'm sorry about all that dragging I did back there in the courtroom. You're actually a great mother. I really hope that you get custody. Like, that doesn't work that way, all right? Yo, real quick before we move on, guys, do me a big favor. My analytics show that only 39% of you watching are actually subscribed. I don't know what's up with that, but if you guys are already watching the videos every day, you might as well join the Grim Squad officially, so hit that subscribe button.
If you want to have a relationship with your son, you need to get real with yourself and with me.
And Dr. Phil is going to be repeating this to this woman pretty much the rest of this video. If she wants any chance of being in her son's life, which she claims she does want, but I mean, she still hasn't completed that 1-hour parenting course that was appointed 3 years ago or whatever. It was like 2 years ago, I forget. But she has not put in any work, and she has instead been lying to herself and Dr. Phil this entire time, which is just, again, I always say this, when people are lying to themselves in the show and won't admit anything negative about themselves, it's just a waste of being on the show. Like, there's no point in you being here if you're not going to be truthful with Dr. Phil, like at least 1% truthful even. She is just lying left and right.
You were told that you needed to complete a 1-hour parenting course 3 years ago. Have you done that?
No.
And at least here, I will say she admitted that she did not take the class because there's no way to refute that. Like, I'm honestly just surprised she didn't say, actually, I do recall going, but for some reason they didn't say that I went. So it's probably the court's, issue, Dr. Phil, but I definitely went. It was an easy class too. I aced it.
You told me your #1 priority was to have your son in your life, and you haven't found 1 hour in 3 years to complete a parenting course?
No, I haven't.
See, there's no excuse for that. You cannot be claiming that you're doing everything in your power to get your son back when there is literally 2 1-hour classes standing in between you and having supervised visitation of your son, which is the best you're going to get in your current situation, to be honest. After I read that court document earlier that Dr. Phil showed, it's not looking good for you, and it's going to be a real fight for you to get custody back. But if you're not putting in even the slightest effort by taking this class, I don't know where you're expecting to get, because this kid's not just going to be handed back to you, especially when the dad's a freaking all-star and really trying to take care of you still as well, and offered you to live in his house twice because you were down so poorly, and he just saw that and acknowledged it and still was a good friend to you. Yet you turn around and are trying to degrade him on Dr. Phil's show. It really is just a weird world that this woman lives in, where she expects any of this to work out, and she needs to change how she's operating right now, or else she's never going to see her son again.
If you want to save face now and say that happened, then say it. Fine, I don't care. But you need to hear me.
I'm not lying.
And he even gives her a chance to save face a tiny bit here and be like, okay, I've lied about certain parts of this story, Dr. Phil. Like, you don't even have to say it all was a lie, even though it is. Like, everything you've said on this show so far has been an absolute massive, terrible lie. But he just wants you to admit that you have lied at least once. And instead, she is doubling down like, I'm not lying, Dr. Phil. Why are you attacking me? Oh, this woman is just frustrating. And I really wish that we had like the real crowd right now, because they always just threw so much shade to people like this. I am just imagining the amount of laughs we're missing out on hearing because they're all behind him in a muted Zoom call.
You need to stop blaming. You need to stop being the victim. You need to stop making excuses for not taking an hour course.
And I know he keeps bringing up this course with this woman, but really, that is the one thing you need to consider when you think of this whole story. She could complete that course and start seeing her son instead of having to beg to FaceTime him, where she claims they don't allow him to get on FaceTime with her, even though we saw that was a lie in the last video. One of her many lies, but that is all that she has to do to at least get the ball rolling, and she hasn't done that. I understand it might seem like a mountain of tasks that you have before you. Like, I know that feeling where you just are so overwhelmed by the idea of what you have to do that you can't even start. But she is just BSing us all by coming on stage and playing the victim, like, my ex-husband keeps me away from my kids and I'm trying so hard to see them, but they just don't want to see their mother. And it's just so frustrating, dude. Like, this lady needs to get a grip on reality. You're old enough to know right from wrong, and Dr. Phil is laying it out for you in the most plain terms ever, yet you're still not getting it.
The road to getting you back to your son is so easily done. You can have it covered in 30 days.
And it sounds like some serious tough love Dr. Phil's giving this woman, but that really is what she needs right now. And he's telling her, like, it might seem hard, but really you could ultimately have this all sorted out, or at least mostly sorted out compared to what it is now, in less than a month. And that is true. I mean, she could really start kicking her own butt into gear and getting help for the stuff she needs help with that is keeping her from seeing her son. And then she would stop being so sad and stop just, trying to play the victim in the situation. Like, you could take control of your own life and do this, yet you're not. And that's the frustrating thing.
I'm telling you the truth because it will get you back to your son the quickest. And I will help you do it.
And she's crying, not really saying anything, not coming up with any more excuses. So you know what? I think Dr. Phil might have really cracked the case here and finally spoken to her in a way that she is really resonating with. Maybe she will take this information and start working on herself as soon as she stops filming this. Hopefully, that's what I hope happens, because this kid, he deserves to have his mother in his life. I know he's young and he can't really see like the gravity of the situation. I really do ultimately hope this woman is able to get help. With that being said, she is one of the worst liars that I've ever seen on this show, but I did want to give you guys some resolution because Dr. Phil ended up uploading more parts of this episode showing just this tough talk that he's basically giving her. But it was almost like a fatherly conversation, and I like these episodes. They're a bit different, but let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.